Peace and love, great people. What's up? Okay, so kind of took a little backseat just to scope the scene of boxing the past few days, really the past week or so. Just taking a back seat and scoping out the terrain, the landscape, the temperature of the boxing world. And, I'm just curious is a good word. I'll use that. I'm curious as to what the going theme, the basis of 2024 will present to the boxing scene as a whole. I'm very, very curious. And I have to be quite honest that I'm not too certain on the direction for boxing in 2024, and partly because a lot of it has been kept kind of hidden. And, the details about upcoming bouts have been purposely cryptic, and I'm wondering what the reason for that is. 2024 is looking very vague, very strange. Last year, I could say that 2023 really brought about some really epic fights, like the climate that was set last year within boxing was one of the statement. I think that the statement was set, and that was the goal of 2023. As far as my analysis of it, last year we had some really epic bouts. We had, just to name a few here off the top, we had Devin Haney versus Lomo. We had Spence versus Crawford. We had Benavidez versus Andrade. We even had the likes of Tank versus Ryan. Pretty significant bouts. And I'm wondering if this year will be another year of statements to be made, or if it'll be treated as an intermediary stage. If it'll just be one of filler, so to speak. So far, we only have really one fight announcement from PBC, two at best, which is the fight schedule with Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu, and I believe another one with Benavidez I'm not sure if that was reported or if that was confirmed, but the most significant one, the first one I could say, was definitely that of Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. That announcement was made. They had the kickoff presser and all of that, so that one I consider to be official, because a lot of these news headlines, and these, platforms make a lot of announcements, but they have nothing to do in the realm of validity at all. It's just spoken about, doesn't mean it's necessarily confirmed. But the Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman fight is definitely official. We saw the press, the set kickoff press conference for that. So that is all done and well. But nothing else has really been revealed, right? Nothing else apart from that, nothing concrete. Aside from that, as far as PBC is concerned, has been revealed. No further information giving any information regarding, potential, lineups, upcoming lineups. No real look into what we can look forward to in the coming months. And that's very peculiar to me, Outside of the PBC, of course, we have Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia coming up on April 20th, which is really interesting. I cannot wait to see that. We also have the Joshua and Ngannou fight. That's coming up in about 3 weeks, which initially I can't say that I was at all impressed, with the announcement of that fight. But, the man has to keep busy somehow, especially with the antics and the charades of Tyson Fury with the gash and the pulling out and everything that he always tends to do when he wants to duck or prolong a meeting with his opponent. Joshua has to keep busy in the meantime, so Ngannou it is. So on that level, I'm excited to see what he'll bring forth on, I believe it's March 8th, that fight will be taking place, Joshua Ngannou. That's really all as far as the major scale boxing announcements, solidified, confirmed fights. Boxing, to be honest, is looking really frail outside of these fights so far. Very frail, very limited, very thin. What are they going to be catering to this year as a whole in boxing is what I'm curious about. What is the goal being set forth by these networks and these fighters themselves? Will this be a year of filler? I certainly goddamn hope not, I hope that it's not something like, maybe one or two significant fights and the rest of the year is just, some filler to pass the time. I hope that's not the case here. I'm not sure what the outset is, what the projection is pointing towards as far as this type of sparse approach that we've got going on currently. It's very bizarre to me. And, as for the major names in boxing, what is happening on that front? With the major names, with the people that the fans love to rally behind. Who the hell is Canelo fighting, for heaven's sakes? He had I don't know if that's what you would call it, a press conference. I've never seen a press conference or a press announcement with absolutely no announcement made. That's one for the history books. How the fuck you have a whole goddamn press conference surrounding an announcement to be made and no announcement is made? What the hell? That man didn't even say who he's fighting. He's just dropping motherfucking crumbs, talk about it's an American. What the hell? Are you motherfucking fighting somebody or not? The fuck? That was weird as hell. It's just absolutely ridiculous to me the more and more I think about that. But anyway, what's going on with Canelo? What's going on with the Charlos? We had one Charlo that was unsuccessful. That was Jamel, who fought Canelo. And lost. And then we have Jamal, who fought David, or I always forget his name, that brother, the older brother of the Benavidez brothers. He fought him and won. What's going on? It was rumored, speculations were circulating that Jamal was going to fight Canelo. Obviously, that's not happening. Jamal took to his Instagram and confirmed while on the beach sipping his lemonade with his wife, that Canelo is not a target for him and that he hasn't gotten any call, no paperwork, no nothing. And it seems like he has no other calls or paperwork concerning any other fighters on the table for him either. What's going on with the Charlo brothers? I'd like to know, because it'd be great to see them back in the ring. What's the plan with EJ? What's going on with Errol Spence is probably my biggest question as far as the whole scope of boxing. He's definitely one of my top men, and I support him very, very, very severely. I really fucks with EJ a lot. I want to see what he's doing. Is Crawford going to go up to 154 for this rematch? What's happening, y'all? Why is everything so distant, so quiet, so out of reach? It's crazy to me. And speaking of David Benavidez also, I believe I came across an article stating that he's going to be moving up to light heavyweight in June, I believe, which is really interesting, which makes me think about what is in store for David Morrell. Because if he's moving out of the division up to light heavyweight, then, that means that we have a longer gap between, the possible matchup between he and David Morrell. Also, another big question is who the motherfucking fuck is Tank getting in the ring with? It's absolutely absurd what's going on in boxing. You feel? Like I hear rumblings and have been hearing for the past few days really significantly speculations that Tank is going to be fighting Frank Martin. That's kind of like the thing that's being generated online right now, is that he's fighting. People are putting, posters up of them and saying that it's a done deal, that they've agreed to the bout. But I have heard no official announcements, no confirmations from either of their teams. And real talk, like, most importantly, I'll only believe that that fight is happening when I see the two of them sitting opposite each other at the press conference. That's literally the only way I'll believe it. These days I've learned that I can't take heed to anything that Tank or his team or surrounding people put out concerning Gervonta Tank Davis. It's just not, I just can't believe it. I will not subscribe to anything until I see them at the presser. That's the only way that I'll sign in to tune in to the details of that. Because he's just cap, and everything surrounding him has been cap. So I have no faith as far as the word of he or his team. They do a lot more talking than acting these days, a lot more typing than acting these days. I also recently heard something about Danny Garcia, that he's supposed to be taking on Conor Benn. And this, of course, is coming off the back of the atrocity that Tank pulled when he postured that he was going to be trying to fight Conor Benn, only to back out and pull out. Oh, my God, and rescind, his posturing and take a back seat to that, which nobody has said an absolute word about that, which is very bizarre to me. All of his fans tend to know when to get quiet and when to puff up and speak loudly. It's very crazy to me as far as that goes, but it is what it is. Like I said, it's come to be the norm. It's come to be the expected as far as Tank is concerned. But yes, I am wondering when his next fight is and what announcement will be made, who is he going to be fighting, and when we could, tune in for that. Real talk, boxing is in a very topsy-turvy, unstable, and insecure place right now. And it has been very shaky for some months, and it makes me very skeptical of the motion and the direction and the purpose with which the networks and the boxers themselves and the promoters are handling things. I don't know what vibe they're creating with this type of shift in energy towards a more vague, sparse approach. I really can't account for why things are so precarious and vague. It's strange, it's quite bizarre to me. As I look into it, I can't front about that. In no other sport does such a thing take place. No other sport, You can look to any other sport, and schedules are set and put forth, and plans are made, and the men are aligned to get the job done, whatever their field is. And it's just not happening right now in that type of uniform way in boxing. And it's bizarre. What are these loose ends? Why are the fighters so scattered about like this? What's going on? It seems that only a select few seem to be solidifying their paths with some semblance of intention and consistency. Right? Devin Haney is one of them. Anthony Joshua has been very adamant about his activity and has been following through with that. Ryan Garcia has been getting his ball rolling. George Kambosos even, David Benavidez. It seems only a select few, among the whole of boxing that are really, really serious about getting busy, getting to work. And I don't know why it's the way that it is, to be honest. It seems like the lapse and the gaps between fights for a majority of fighters outweigh the activity. The consistency seems to be getting further and further apart, and subsequently, that distance is becoming more of the norm, unfortunately. And I'd hope to see some tides changing in the landscape, and hopefully, a continuance of what 2023 seemed to have brought forth and seemed to have initiated, which was, legacy building competition, that defines a time and that sets up potential bouts further in the future between the men who come out victoriously. There's so much potential, really, seriously, like mad potential is bubbling and permeating and suffusing the entire scope and the entire realm of boxing right now. I'd hate for them to not take full advantage of that. There is no reason to not foster an environment that will align all of these aspects together so that we can see of what these champion men are made of. You know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw, we should be seeing them setting out on a path to really face the best. It always comes down to facing the best. And hopefully this year will, align some of these great men together so that we could see, a testament of strength, a testament of will. And, if some people come up short, we could see their bounce back. And for the people that are victorious, we could see how much further they can go from that point. So I don't know. I'm optimistic about 2024 because I love boxing. So, of course, I have the best frame of mind that I approach it with because I intend to see and to support some great matchups. But I don't know what the powers that be in the sport are thinking. Hopefully they're aligned with us boxing enthusiasts who really want to see the best matchups being made. Shakur Stevenson just came to mind again. He's another one. We don't know what the hell he's doing. It's just very vague and very bleak. And hopefully we get some major announcements soon, because these little cookie crumbs that they've begun spreading is just not doing anything really. It's too vague. We're going to be we're only 3 weeks away from spring. Come on, son. We should have had a fight roster already thrown about, so that we could be seeing, who's going to be fighting who. It's too vague, but hopefully we get something soon. We'll see what unfolds, you guys. I hope everybody's been well. Anyway, on to the next. Peace.